So we'll get started. So we're discussing the dinim of pikuach nefesh, and we spoke a little about it yesterday. There are some other things we didn't discuss. One thing is there's a common misconception that people have that if there's a fire, you're not allowed to put it out on Shabbos.
If you're what?
If there's a fire in your house, you're not allowed to put it out on Shabbos. You have to let your house burn down. So where does that come from? So in the Gemara, there's a lot of discussion about what to do if your house catches if there's a fire on Shabbos. It says you're not allowed to ask a guy to do it. You're not allowed to carry things out yourself. And we're in the Gemara, it seems like we're very strict about putting out fires. We don't let you put out fires. So, so what's the reason for this? We'll see la halacha it is mutter, and it's very important. We have had some tragedies recently with fires, and obviously the fire has to put it out. So we're going to see where the Gemara, why it's like that, and why things are different nowadays. So look in the first Maramokim, the Alter Rebbe in the Shulchan Aruch in Siman Shin Lamed Daled explains why the Chacham forbade to even tell a non-Jew to put out a fire on Shabbos. He explains why. He says it's Asr Loimar L'Nachri Lichveis Hadleika Mishum Hefsin L'Mainei. You're not allowed to tell a guy to put out your fire to stop your money and all your possessions from getting burned down. Even according to the opinions that say putting out a fire is only Asr Midrabanan, it's not an Isr Min HaTorah. Even then, and ubemakin hesed gadli shahata amir lenachri, b'davar sheini asur l'Yisrael el midivrei seifrin. And normally we allow, if there's a big loss, we normally allow you to tell a non-Jew to do something for you that's only asur midrabanan. So why don't we allow? Why is there a problem of telling a non-Jew to put out a fire on Shabbos?
To turn off.
What?
To turn off the fire.
To turn it off. Why does the Gemara say? Why is the Gemara say you're not allowed to? So he says, Mikol Makim kan b'dleika shadavar bohu v'nechbaz huma'oid. When it comes to fire, people get very nervous and get very scared. They want to save all their money. They want to save everything. Ma'id lahasam amayni. He wants to save his money. Ve'im libay olav, and he doesn't pay attention to what he's doing. Ve'im natir leklum, and if you allow him to do anything, even to tell a guy to put out the fire, afu layitin dvarav l'shirim, he won't be able to hold himself back. Ve'yavei lichveis va'atzmei. And the Yiddah, he'll come to put out the fire himself and do a Isser putting out a fire on Shabbos. So because of this, Alter Rebbe explains, that's why the Chamim made it forbidden to even have a guy put out a fire for you on Shabbos. So, and this is what it says in Shulchan Aruch. However, the Tumas Hadeshin, one of the later Rishonim, and it starts early with the Erzerua, brings down that nowadays the minhag is that people do put out the fires. Why? We say because it's sakanas nefashos. Why is it sakanas nefashos? So he says not because people are going to die. He says not because people are going to die from the fire. He says because the way it was back then was that when there were fires, the goyim, all the wild game used to go and raid the houses. They used to steal everything, and people would try to protect their things. They would kill them. So therefore, whenever there was a fire, was a danger because all the looters are going to start running around and start looting all the houses. So therefore, it's dangerous, and you're allowed to put it out.
So today, if somebody has a fire in Shabbos, you're allowed to call the fire department?
Well, so Tumas Hadeshin says because the people are going to start looting and it's dangerous, you're allowed to. Let's read the Tumas Hadeshin.
The fire department itself, the big tip.
Lahalacha, you can put out the fire yourself.
Right?
Lahalacha, you can put out the fire yourself. We're gonna understand why. First, let's see the Tumas Hadeshin. In the second Maramakim.
If you wait for the fire department to come, it's just going to spread in the meantime until they come. You become even dangerous.
Lahalacha supposed to put out the fire. We're going to understand why. The Gemara, the ruling in the Gemara, and brought down Shulchan Aruch is you're not even allowed to tell a guy to put out a fire.
Yeah.
No, but you said the Tumas Hadeshin says you're allowed to.
Assuming that it's not going to bring about sakanat nefashot.
Oh, so the Tumas Hadeshin, we're going to read inside. He says it brings sakanat nefashos. Let's see how it does. In the second Maramakim, Tumas Hadeshin says it's mutar lichveis hadleika b'Shabbos. You're allowed to extinguish a fire on Shabbos bisman hazeh nowadays. Why? Mipnei she'anu darim bein hanochrim. Since we live between the goyim, the shelim v'hargim, and they're and they're some of and they loot and they kill. The lay garam me'ir hasmuchal l'svar, and it's just as good as if you live at the edge of Eretz Yisrael. If someone comes to steal even straw, you go out to fight them even on Shabbos with all your weapons.
The famous
the famous halacha, yeah, Shin
Tet.
Chavtes. That's I think. So he goes on further and he says, one of the Zarua writes in Hilchas Shabbos, because of Zel Shayne, even if it's a suffix sakana, if someone come to loot and someone will get killed, the Gedei Yisrael themselves go to put out the fire. Even though you could do it through even though you're able to do it through a guy, they go and do it themselves.
Because it's according to Nefoshes.
Because they're going to go rob and they're going to loot and they're going to end up killing
So
people.
it's like the coming on this moment.
Yeah. So nowadays, does that happen? I don't know.
Sure.
If by fires, people are going to go looting.
Sure.
The firefighters steal. My parents had that as a kid. They lose my parents to
Oh yeah.
What?
So there's in the third Maramach, Mishnah Berurah goes on further. He says that he really brings that from some of the earlier poskim that he said besides for the fact that there's going to be looting, you have their old people, their sick people. Not everyone's going to be able to run away. Either you have real sakanas safashis, people might get burned.
What about the fact that the guy might say you don't care the fire should spread?
Oh, so actually, the Tumas he didn't quote the whole thing. He says that's also one of the problems. He says that some of them they have rule that whoever's house the fire comes out from, they throw that person into the fire as well. So there's all the dangers, but these dangers I don't think we have so much nowadays that people are going to get killed from looting. But there's another danger the Mishnah Berurah brings down in the third Maramakim. He says, and along the same lines of Tumas Hadeshim, we also have another heter to put out the fire, chol makim in every place, kivan the efsha in lo yichveno, al yechsa sham, yechaveno, al yechsa sham be'ir zaken echila. Because it's impossible that there won't be a sick person or elderly person, which won't be able to run away. V'tavi hadleika olav, and the fire is going to come to him. So this whole halacha in the Gemara and Shulchan Aruch, which says you're not allowed to put out fires, that's only talk. That's a really unique, rare case, which there's no one around, no one's going to get hurt. There aren't any gas pipes. There aren't bushes or leaves or trees that the fire could catch onto. This this din is very unique. There are some stories that people houses caught on fire. People were nervous. They weren't sure if they're allowed to put out the fire. They went to go ask the rabbi, and that's terrible. There's a fire, you don't go to ask the rabbi. So he says, it's the sakanas nefashis here.
By the time you get an answer, there's no bars to...
And especially nowadays, people live in buildings. You leave things for 1 second and it's the end, it's over.
We had the fire here 3 years ago. We were told, 5 minutes late, later.
Will be no house.
Yeah, basically. No house, they probably no library.
Nothing.
Yeah.
And the Prima Godim writes very sharply in the fourth Maramakim. He says it's mitzvah lidrish. It's a mitzvah to darshan. You have to make public announcements. The mutter lichbeis. You're allowed to put out fires. Just like in about the dinim of the sakanas nefashis. Yeah. That hashayel va'anishal ha'izah megunah. If someone comes to ask questions, and if rabbi needs to be asked, it's disgusting. Shahayel lidrish b'rabbi. The rabbi should have made sure everyone knows. If someone needs to come ask his rabbi, it's the rabbi's fault that he didn't make sure everyone knows that. So Sakanas Nefashis fires, there's no question, you put it out and you make sure everything's okay. And also the place can talk about if they want to, it says also if someone does Avir on Shabbos, you have to do tshuva. Either you have to fast, or if you can't fast, you should give tzedakah. They're right, chas v'shalom, they discuss if someone put out a fire on Shabbos, he wants to do tshuva, is he allowed to? Say chas v'shalom to do tshuva, chas v'shalom to even think, have even a thought they have to do tshuva for putting out a fire. Yeah, sakanas nefashis. People think you have to do tshuva, you have to give tzedakah, they're going to think it's a problem. Chas v'shalom, you're not allowed to do tshuva, it's the biggest mitzvah you should do, and there's no doing tshuva for it. Everything is fine. So this is about fire. So you have to clarify that some people have this misconception that there's a problem, because that's what it says in the Gemara, but halacha l'maisa, it doesn't exist nowadays. So practically every case you have a fire, it's dangerous.
Now the people have in every apartment house, they will have smoke detectors because the fire shouldn't spread to somebody else.
Yeah.
It's law.
Yeah.
Sprinklers, it shouldn't spread.
So the next part of the discussion I wanted to finish off is about with people having birth on Shabbos. So one of the questions is from when is she considered when for one part of labor are you able to be a Chel Shabbos from her? When is she considered that she's already in danger? So in the Gemara gives three different times. There's an argument. One says that once blood starts coming out. Once blood starts coming out of that place, the water breaks, and there's not just the water, but there's blood coming out. The second share that's given is that if she can't, the second share that's given is when she sits down on the stone or on the place where she would give birth. And the
They
third
called it a birth stool.
the birthing stool.
Birth stool.
The mashber, when they would sit down in the place when they were ready to give birth. And the third measurement that's given is when she can't walk. When she can't walk, then she's and these are three different opinions. One, she's considered that she's already in danger, and you could desecrate Shabbos to help her. And so la halacha, it's a sakanas nefashis. Either of them is good enough. Either of them is good enough. But the thing is, the problem is that back then you have to realize all these measurements. If you wait to go to the hospital until she can't walk anymore, usually when she can't walk anymore, I suppose the baby's already on the way out, right? So you can't wait that long. So the Taz points out that if this is all when everything is ready. You have everything ready. There's the last quick things you have to do beforehand. So those things you do at the end. But if you have to go call a midwife and you have to travel to a certain place, even if you have the slightest doubt, even if you're not sure, you have the slightest doubt, the suffix maybe she's already starting to go into labor, and if the lady need the midwife to come in time, you have to call her now. Even if it's a suffix, you be mechal Shabbos. So that's what. So nowadays, even though we have these measurements, so practically you have to travel to the hospital. So we go by different measurements. We go by whatever the midwives, the midwives or the doctors tell you to go, or the contractions are within a minute of apart, or a few minutes they last. Whatever the different measurements they tell you when to go to the hospital.
Even if they tell you to come and you came, and then they tell you to go home, it doesn't consider Mechal Shabbos. It's better to be there and.
Have a guy drive you back.
No, but the point is that it doesn't consider that you Mechal Shabbos.
Yeah.
They did not know that.
Yeah, going there is not being Mechal Shabbos because it's a suffix.
Calls it solid just to get it. You don't feel well. They tell you there's nothing wrong. You do all the checking.
Right. So what's funny with us? So whenever you need to go, that's when you go. It is a cute word I heard that in the Gemara it calls a midwife a chachama. Chachama, that's what the midwives are called. So I heard a word why they call it chachama.
You let it.
The midwife. Midwife is called, yeah, the milad. She's called a chachama. Why? So it says chachama is lashon chachma. So it says in Pirkei Avos, Ezel Chacham Harei Sanelad. Who is literally means who is a wise person, someone who sees the future. But that's what it means. But if you teach literally Ezel Harei Sanelad, someone who sees what is born, that is a Chacham. So a cute word. So now, so the next part of the discussion is. Until when? So once she goes into labor, you can be Mechal Shabbos, you can do everything you need to do. So the question is, she already gave birth. So until when is she considered in critical condition? Until when could you be Mechal Shabbos for her?
How many days after?
Yeah, how long after she gives birth are you able to do everything you need to do for her to help her get better? So there are three different shiurim which is given in the Gemara. There's the first 3 days. Then there's until the 7th day, and then there's from the 7th day until the 30th day. So let's see what's the difference between them, between these three shiurim. Look in the fifth Ma'amakim.
Can you repeat please what is three shiurim?
There are three. One, the first 3 days is one shiur. She's in a category. The second category is from the 3rd until the 7th day, and then from the 7th day until the 30th day, from when she gave birth. So let's see inside what is the difference between these shiurim. So in the fifth Ma'amakim, the Tur, in Simon Lamed, he writes, the Chol Shleisha Yamim Harishenim, the first 3 days from after she gave birth, Afilu Amra Eini Tzricha, even if this lady says, I don't need her to cook for me, I don't need her to do it for me, I'm fine, don't bother, everything's okay, still Mechalin Ales HaShabbos. We're Mechal Shabbos for her, even if she says she's okay and she doesn't need it. If we think this is something that she normally needs, we're Mechal Shabbos and we give it to her anyways, and we give it to her. If her friends and the people know that say this is something she needs and it's something that she normally needs, you give it to her. Anyways, the Ramban Kosav, the Ramban writes further, even if there's no midwife or doctor over there, that say that it's important to do this for her, still Aisin law. You do these things that the ladies say that she needs. Because everyone knows the basic things that you need to do for someone lady who gave birth. And it's important for her and it's dangerous if she doesn't have it. So even if she says, "Oh, okay, don't be Machal Shabbos for her, it's really okay," you don't listen to her. You do you do the basic, you do the standard procedure and make sure everything is okay. This is the first 3 days. After the first 3 days, what changes? So in the second paragraph, the Torah continues. He says, "Kol shiva yamim harishainim," but the rest of the 7 days, Pirush Mishleisha Ad Shiva, from after the third day until the end of the 7th day. So then, if Amra Eini Tzricha, if she says, "I'm okay, I feel fine, I don't need you to be Machal Shabbos for me," so Ein Mechalin Alel, you're not Machal Shabbos for her. She says she doesn't need it, so you don't do it for her. But Stama, if she's not sure, she doesn't say anything, Mechalin. If she's not sure, she doesn't say what she doesn't. If she doesn't tell you clearly it's okay, she doesn't need it, you're Machal Shabbos for her. Things what she normally needs, you're Machal Shabbos, you give it to her. That's so from the 3rd day until the 7th day. Now, but from the 7th day and onwards, ad shleishim yom, until the 30th day, afilu amar tzricha ani, even if she says I need it, in mechalin alel, we're not mechal Shabbos for her, even if she says she needs you to. Ella harihi kashar chayla she'im beisakana she'im lagay v'isa. She's like any other sick person who is not in critical condition, that you could have a non-Jew do anything that needs to be done for her, but you cannot be mechal Shabbos for her after the 7th day. Until the end of the 30th day, she's considered like a regular sick person who's not in critical condition. And obviously, this is also only considering that doctors don't tell you that she is in an unusual condition. This is also assuming everything goes normal. If something unusual happens and the doctor says it's dangerous, obviously you're Machal Shabbos as long as for whatever the doctors say you need to do.
If there's a red flag.
If there's a what?
A red flag.
Yeah, there's a red flag. And so the next question is, when do you start? From when do you count these 3 days? Let's say someone gave. Usually, when does the day start? We start from the night before, from Tzeisak Echavim, or from Shkia, until the next day by Shkia. So let's say someone gave birth an hour before sundown. So when do you count the day? Do you say after an hour past the day is over, or do you say you count the full 24 hours from when she gave birth? How do you count the days? So it's a machlekes. How do you count it? So looking at 6 Maramakim, the Magen Avram says, Shleisha Yamin, how do you count 3 days? You don't count the full 24 hours. Like in Hilchos Yom Kippur, the Turma Sadeshin is brought down over there that you count from Shkia. So if she gave birth an hour before sundown, so once sundown happens, once it's Shkia, that's already the first day. That's 1 day. There's only 1 hour, but that counts as a day. And then you
2 more days.
Then you have only 2 more days left. This is how the Magen Avraham says, and Alter Rebbe also passes like that in the Shulchan Aruch. However, the Eli Rava is a pirush on the Levush. He disagrees. He doesn't think so. He brings in the second line. He says, "Me isra v'heter ha'aruch." When the isra v'heter reish klal nantes li mashma hachi. It's not mashma like this. It's mashma that you count the full 24 hours. How so?
What do you mean? From when she had the baby?
From when she had the baby, you count the full 20.
Not the day. It could be like 1 o'clock afternoon on Sunday. It will be
1 o'clock. Yeah, 1 o'clock the next day. That's the
first day.
That's when the second day starts. So how is it implied? So in the third line, I brought the lashon of the isra v'heter. So he writes after she gives birth, Gimel Yamim Shleimim, for 3 complete days.
So that's 4 days. It could be 4 days.
It could.
Are you saying a 72-hour period?
It's a 72-hour period according to the Isra Heter Aruch and the Eli Rava.
So we have just 2 opinions basically.
Yeah. So the Alter Rebbe and the Magen Avraham paskin l'chumra that you don't count the full 24 hours. You count from sundown. However, the Isra Heter and the Mishnah Berurah also brings it down. The Mishnah Berurah says you could be makel and count the full 72-hour period.
Wow.
Count from when it happens. So That's
Getting
machlekes lahalacha.
You're getting more leeway to 72 hours.
The what?
You're giving her more leeway to.
Yeah, you're giving her more leeway. So the Mishnah Berurah wants to be makel. He says sakanas nefashis. It's a critical condition. He wants to say you could be lenient. Alter Rebbe doesn't mention such opinion. He only mentions the Magen Avraham that you count from sundown.
Because your opinion that says 7 days, so that's for sure.
So for 7 days, yeah, that's if she says she needs it. Yeah.
So I've said because you have opinion that says even 7 days you're allowed to, so for sure by
Right.
the 3 will be okay.
Right. This is. So that's another part of the discussion. There's another part of the big discussion comes up. Let's say some lady, this isn't only for, the discussion comes up by someone giving birth, but it happens by any sick person. Let's say a person says, I really need you to bring my relatives, I need you to do something, I need you to bring this picture from my house, or I need to have the lights on, there are certain things which aren't dangerous, it's not a big deal, she doesn't need it. They want, and they're persistent, they say, I have to have it, I must have it, I'm going to go crazy without it. Are you allowed to be Mechal Shabbos to give it to them? So there's absolutely no problem. It's not a real need. It's not something important. But for them, they really want it. Are you allowed to be Mechal Shabbos to give this to them?
What's the Havamina that you can?
Because maybe, we're going to see, it could be that if the person's all nervous and all scared, that you're not giving them what, it might make their situation worse. If the person's in a bad situation, they think you're not doing what's supposed to be done, they're not getting what they need, they're going to get all nervous and can make things worse. So where does this come up? So this comes up, there's a Gemara in Shabbos, it says if a lady giving birth, she insists she needs a light. So you don't need the light, you're able to do everything without, there's enough light, but she needs a bright light, she wants to make sure there's a bright light. So are you allowed to be Mechal Shabbos? So the Gemara says in the 7th Mar Mokim, Omar Mar, if this lady said she wants a candle, she wants there to be light, her friends light the candle for her. So the Gemara asks, Pshita, obviously you light a candle for her. She's asking for it, she wants it. So the Gemara says, we need to teach us this chiddush besuma. We're talking about a blind person. There's a blind lady giving birth, and she says, I need you to turn on the light for me.
Because she wants the miyaleh to see what she's doing.
So she says, I need to turn the light for me. So what might you have thought? You might have thought, since she can't see, it doesn't make a difference to her. It's usher. The doctors know what they're doing. It's a dim light. They could see well enough. There's some moonlight, whatever it is. They could see well enough. They don't need the light. You might think it's usher. Kamash Malah, and it comes to teach us isuvi misvadaita. Since it's going to calm her down and it's going to relax her. When you light the candle for her, you're allowed to do it for her because Savra ikamidi chazya chaverta vavzali. Because she thinks that if something goes wrong, if there's a candle, they'll be able to see and they'll be able to take care of it properly. But if the candle isn't lit, she's going to get nervous that they won't be taking care of her properly, and she's going to get very scared, and it could worsen her condition if she's very scared that she's not being taken care of properly.
Also, Summa know when it's day, when it's night. Even though he doesn't see anything, he know when it's day and night.
Different type of Summa. Some of them don't know.
See, there's different kinds of blind people.
Yeah.
So we see. So there's a big chiddush over here we see from the Gemara that if a lady is very nervous and she says, "I need you to do this," she wants to make sure she's getting taken care of well, even though it's not a big deal and it's really not going to help anything. If it's going to relax her, you're allowed to be Mechal Shabbos. A yid is allowed to light this candle for her to make her calm. So, but there's another case in the Gemara where it seems that you can't do it. Not for everything. Not all cases we're going to allow such a thing. How so? Look in the 8th Mar Mokim. There's the Mordechai, one of the Rishonim. He brings it in Shabbos Siman Yadalid. He says a chayla the takif le alma, who is sick and he's on the verge of passing away. Va'imar sheyishluchu acha krevav, and he says that he should send the messenger to go call his relatives. Va'adai shari, for sure you're allowed to send the messenger to go bring his relatives. A messenger who is a guy. Because he's going to get scared and he's going to get all agitated and it's going to make him crazy. In the Gemara Baba Basra says, it says, if a person who is on the verge of passing away and he wants to pass on all his possessions to someone else, he wants to give a shtar, you could be kind of for him. I feel b'Shabbos Shem Titrik Zaitei Olav, because he might get very nervous and agitated, and it's not good for him. So the Gemara over here really only permitted something which is Asr Midrabanan. Giving over possessions to someone else is only Asr Midrabanan, and also to send a messenger to go call the relatives, that's also something which is only Asr Midrabanan. So it seems like over here we're only matter things which are Midrabanan. If you're afraid the person's going to get nervous, we should be Mechal Shabbos for them. So there are some opinions. The Levush actually writes that's true. Even in this case, really, Mikra Din, you're allowed to be Mechal Shabbos for them. You could be Mechal Shabbos to bring their relatives. You could be Mechal Shabbos to do Midraisa, to do everything you need to do.
What is going to do to the Choyle by bringing the relative? He's sick.
Yeah, but he's going crazy. So he's passing away, and he wants his relatives.
Peace of mind.
He wants his relatives to be here before he passes away, and he's very nervous. He doesn't want to be by himself. He wants the company. He wants his family.
He's not going to make him heal.
Yeah,
he's going to die. So
What to say goodbye?
no, but it says we're worried that Hashem he might go crazy and might worsen the
So
situation.
he'll die crazy. But what's it? He's dying.
Maybe he'll die quicker. Maybe it'll make things worse.
So
Is it going to help him?
Maybe
Just like by the lady who she's nervous that you don't have the candle.
lady is because she's going to have a baby. She's dying
But it's not making it. No, but it can make it worse. I'm saying if you could make someone live for another minute, you're Machal Shabbos to help him live for another minute also.
Right.
You're still Machal Shabbos. So the question is over here: when this person wants to bring his relatives, are you allowed to do it? Are you allowed
It's
to do
not a
something?
medicine, but it's going to help him.
So are you allowed to do something which is also minat Torah? So the Levush says that if it's going to calm him down, you can even do something which is also minat Torah. However, the Alter Rebbe says no, you can't even have a yid do something which is also minat Rabbanon. Not only can't do something which is minat Torah, even a yid can't do it with something. Only a goy. The Alter says you can have a goy go call the relatives that when Shabbos is over, they should come over. Look inside in the ninth Maramokim, and Alter Rebbe writes. But a sick person who is condition got very serious, the Yari pen Yamus, and he's afraid that he might die. And he wants that he should go close relatives. It's mutter. Even to rent a guy to go bring them. To bring his relatives after Shabbos, but the relatives can't come on Shabbos. So you see from Alta, so the question is, why not? Well, to light the candle, even though it's not a big deal, we say it's okay for the lady to light the candle for the lady. How come over here? Why don't we say the same thing? If the person's going to get all nervous, we should light the candle for them.
So he's not asking to light candle. You're asking to
bring the relatives, but seemingly you would think it's the same thing. You want the person to be calm, you want them to be relaxed. What's the difference?
Till they come anyway, it's going to be late. They're coming from far away.
Let's say they're going to be there on time.
What is going to do to him? It's not a medicine.
It's going to calm him down. So you're coming on to the point. The Chayim Don, the Ksei Shulchan, he says that there's a difference because when it comes to a candle, the lady is worried that she's not going to get taken care of well. That's a much bigger fear than you just want to have company and you want to feel better. If there's actual fear that you're not going to get taken care of, you're not going to get the proper medicine you need, it's a much bigger fear, and it can make her condition much worse, and therefore you're Machal Shabbos. But if they're not worried about their condition, they just want to have company and they want to feel better, so you can have a guy do something for them, but you can't be. But according to Alter Rebbe understands, it's not Sekanas Lefashis. Look in the 10th Maramokim, how the Ksei Shulchan explains it. He says the Shani Hachagabi Tzavash Chivmera, when the person who is dying, the get Ishtay, and he wants to give a get to his wife, that over there were only matter Isser Derabanan, the safe Eina Inyan Negel Refuas Hachila. These things which he's demanding that he should have company or he wants to give this gift to someone, it doesn't affect his health. You don't have to worry that he's going to get so nervous that he's going to get more critical. Where we allow you to do things through a guy in order that to calm him down, to make him feel better, but we're not worried that his critical condition is going to get worse. But if the person is worried about their actual health, that they're not going to get taken care of properly, If this person in his head, he thinks that this is what he needs and this is going to make him feel better, and you refuse to do what he thinks is going to make him better, and he's going to get very nervous, and his situation is going to get worse, and he's going to get more critical. So he says a very nice explanation that it depends what the person's worried about. If the person is worried that you're not giving them the medicine they need, then yeah, it could then the situation can get more critical. But if it's just they want a company and they want to feel better, so there, the Alter Rebbe is of the opinion that that's not sakanas nefashis, and you could only do things through a goy. However, Pil Mamish, this is only the standard way we assume things, but you always have to keep in mind, if the facts are, if you ask the doctor tells you that it's going to make her worse, if you see the facts, if the facts are that you see things are getting worse, and he's really going to go crazy if he doesn't have his relatives with him, you could be machal Shabbos. In general, we assume this is how it is, that people are only going to get more critical if it's something connected with their medicine. And if it's just to make them feel better, we assume that it's not going to be dangerous. But if it's clear that this person's going to go nuts, they're not going to be able to handle it, and that their situation is going to get worse for sure. You do whatever you need, and the doctors say it's important. You do whatever you need to do. You have a chance to bring the relatives, whatever it is, to make the person feel better and to make their condition better.
That's why we're not so get a court. They run to any court.
Right, because also, how do they know? How do you know what's really going on?
And then they see if it was.
Yeah, they can only.
I once asked the Tzollah coordinator in Borough Park, and I said to him, "Do we have any other calls at the time? Because the person, I'm not sure if it was a legitimate reason to Michal Shabbos." So he told me, I'm not going to answer you that question. We have to take every call as a life-saving call. We can't go think about it with somebody else that, I'm not going to answer you that question. As a coordinator, I felt very bad because the person was really panicky. He had chest pains, but it was really from nervousness. That it wasn't a hard question.
You never know.
If you
never know. So he said, we have to take every call seriously.
You have any suffix, you're Machal Shabbos. Yeah, absolutely.
But he didn't want to answer the question. I said, do you have another call at the same time? He said, well, I'm not going to go look at the log. I'm not going to answer you.
Yeah, that's the right thing to do. So I think we exhausted the discussion of people in critical condition. So the next discussion is, what about people they're not critical condition, they're just sick. What can you do for them? So it depends how sick they are. If someone is so sick that they're stuck in bed or their whole body is weak, even they're walking around but they can't function properly, their whole body is weakened and they should be in bed. So for them, first of all, for sure you can have a goy do anything for them. A non-Jew could do any isser for them. And second of all, even a yid, according to the Alter Rebbe, you could do anything for them in an unusual manner. With the shinoi. So if they need the lights turned on, so you could with your elbow you could turn on the light bulb. If they need hot water, you could heat up the kettle with the back of your hand.
You need to wash it on Shabbos. You need to wash it all day.
Yeah, whatever it is you need to do for them, you're allowed to do it even as ism deraisa. You could do it with an unusual way, or you could do it through ask a guy to do it. And also, other people that are included in the category of a chayla, such a person, as we mentioned before, someone who gave birth after the 7th day. So after the 7th day until 30th day, you can have a guy do anything for them, and even a yid could do anything in an unusual manner for them. And another thing is also for a child. A young child, any of his basic needs, he needs food to eat. He's cold. He's cold, or he's too hot. Anything, if it's any of his basic needs, we treat him like a young child, like a sick person, and you can have a guy do anything for him, even if it's Isser Torah, and also a yid could do anything in an unusual manner. But something which is also midrabanan, you can't do in a regular way. Like let's say you have some type of light bulbs which are only asr midrabanan, and let's say it's LED. I'm not sure all the categories. Some could be asr midaraisa, some could be asr midrabanan. If you have some which are only asr midrabanan, you can't, even though it's only asr midrabanan, you can't do it the usual way. You have to do it in an unusual manner. So if it's the unusual manner, you could do anything, whether it's asr midrabanan or midaraisa. And that's one category of a sick person. A
So
second,
what's the measurement like? Sick. He broke his hands, broke his feet. He's like there's so many details in this.
Oh, so-
what's the measurement?
so you're saying practical cases.
Yeah, like what's
So-
it called?
It's practical case. You have to.
She'el Mustakon, everybody understand it. You know, he doesn't breathe this, but
Oh, but what's the category is given in Shulchan Aruch of someone who is not in critical condition is either that they're so weak, either the whole body is weak, their whole
Okay.
body doesn't function properly, or if they're stuck in bed. Someone who's in bed, he can't do his regular schedule. He has to
he
stay
can't
in
do
bed.
anything. So you have to do for him.
Even though he could force himself, he could get up and if he makes himself a shugga, he can manage to do it. But it's very hard for him, and it really should be staying in bed. He should not be walking around. Such a person like that, you could have a guy do anything for him, or a yid could do it
B'shinui.
anything with a shina in an unusual manner. And the same thing applies for any basic needs of a child. Meaning, so for example, such a person needs medicine. You're allowed to go to the store, carry money in your elbow like this, and drop it on the counter, and take the medicine in a funny way in your elbow and walk and carry it home like that.
You're not required to tell the guy you're paying him to Shabbos?
Hmm?
You're not required to tell the person I'll pay you to Shabbos?
No, because if you do it in a usual manner, it's fine. If you could do it in a usual manner, it's fine. To take it regular with your hands, that's a problem because you're doing it the normal
If you
manner.
have the option that the guy would trust you, do you have to? Could you forego that? You're not required to give that option.
I don't think so. You could, if you're doing it in a usual manner, everything should be fine.
It's like Ayolet on Shabbos, right? She take with her the robe, the tichel, whatever it is. Why she carry it to the car? This doesn't help anything to this, but you're allowed to because it's make our brain relaxing that heavy stuff.
Oh, that's different. It's regular needs. It's. You're saying if it's not like
It's not going to but
Yeah, yeah.
nevertheless, because it's Tenuach Daisa, that she has a break, you let her take care also.
Right, that's different. That's talking about a chila shish basically. That's
Yes,
still in critical
right.
condition. Up here, we're talking about someone who's just sick.
No.
They're not in any danger. And so the next category of a sick person, lower down, is someone who is they could function well, but they have a big pain. They have extreme pain, a really large headache. They could function, they could do things, but it's really bothering them. They have a pain that's really driving them crazy. Or maybe a bad sprained ankle.
Pinch nerve.
I'm not sure what's a perfect example for such a thing. Someone, the lashon in the placement is tsar gadol, someone who has great big pain. You're allowed to tell a guy to do. You're allowed to tell a guy to do anything. Do something which is asr midrabanan and asr midrabanan. You can't have a guy do something which is asr minatayra, and a yid could also do something which is in a unusual manner for them. Isra darabanan you could do also in a unusual way. There's a third cat and also someone who has someone who has not such extreme pain. They have more of a they have a bad headache. You can have a guy do things for them. But if it's just if it's a regular light headache, it's just bothering you. You feel irritated. You have a cough. It's nothing serious. Then we don't permit anything. You can't take medicine, and you have to. You're not able to do anything for it. Someone who is bedridden, someone who is very sick, he is allowed to take medicine. But all other people, even if they have big pain, if their whole body isn't weak and they're not stuck in bed, we're usually not lenient to take medicine, unless there are other ways. And the standard, usually general, we don't permit to take medicine. And
Like a regular guy has a headache, you don't tell him go take a Tylenol.
yeah, we don't permit him to take a Tylenol. Yeah. There are some eitzah, some loopholes. If you want to take medicine after Shabbos, they say if you grind up the medicine and you mix it into a drink, then you could be lenient to take it
before Shabbos.
if you do that before Shabbos, then it's okay then you could take the medicine on Shabbos. Why does it work like that? So the pacing is there. So the pacing gives two reasons for it. Because first of all, people won't realize that other people aren't going to realize you're taking medicine. So there's no problem maris ayin. People will come to think that you're doing something wrong, and also you Why is it? Oh, and we have to mention what is the problem of taking medicine on Shabbos in the first place? The Chachamim made a gzeira that if we allow you to take medicine, you might come to grind up herbs on Shabbos. How do you make medicine? You grind up herbs and you make the medicine. You take it on Shabbos. People worried. The Chachamim were worried that if we allow you to make medicine to grind up herbs on Shabbos, you're going to come to take if we allow you to take medicine on Shabbos, you're going to come to grind up herbs. So therefore, they made it forbidden to take medicine on Shabbos. However, in this case, because Chachamim only permitted it for you to do it before Shabbos, they didn't allow you to do anything with medicine on Shabbos. So you have a reminder. You did an action which is gonna help you not let you forget that
before Shabbos he grinded, so this would make him to know that on Shabbos he
all the preparing of the medicine you did before Shabbos. You grinded it up. You put it in. But since you know that you have to do it before Shabbos, I do it on Shabbos. That's a reminder for you. It's a reminder for you, and also other people won't realize what you're doing, and therefore it is okay to do such things. So if someone's afraid that they're going to have a headache on Shabbos, they're going to have a cough, so either melt the cough candy into a drink, or crush up the Tylenol and then put it into water, and that would be okay to take on Shabbos. And there's another way that you could loophole for taking medicine on Shabbos is if you started taking it a few days before Shabbos. If you start taking it a few days before Shabbos. Let's say antibiotics. So there's a medicine you have to take for a few days.
For 10 days, let's say.
I take for 10 days. So you
can't stop in the middle.
You start a few days before Shabbos. So it's brought down already from Shlomo Kluger, a few hundred years ago. He says that there's a minhag. Everyone's saying that if you started taking it a few days before Shabbos, it's okay. So the question is, what's the reason behind it? What?
The doctor tells you must take it.
Oh, but let's say we're talking about you're not sick in bed. You're functioning properly.
But you have to take it for 10 days. So you took it 7 days and you stop. You have to start again because it's not going to help you.
Oh, so one of the reasons, so one of the explanations that's given for this is because if a medicine you need to take for more than 7 days straight, if you're not allowed to do it, you're never going to be able to heal.
Right.
You're never going to be able to heal from it. If you have to take it for 10 days straight, then every time Shabbos comes, you're never going to be able to heal. So that's one reason given why we're lenient if you're taking it for a few days. Another reason why we're lenient is because there's you're not allowed to put a bandage on Shabbos with a remedy. You're not allowed to put a remedy on Shabbos, but if you put it on before Shabbos and it fell off onto the table, you're allowed to put it back on.
Even if it has antibiotic?
Mm-hmm.
Even if it has antibiotic on it?
Yeah, because since you had it on before Shabbos already, and you didn't, and it didn't fall on the floor, only fell on the table, you're allowed to put it back on since you started before Shabbos. So if they are placing say that could also be the source for this leniency, that if you started taking this medicine before Shabbos, you could continue taking it on Shabbos, like antibiotics. Antibiotics would be okay.
But if you wake up Shabbos morning, you have a headache, you can't take a pill.
If you wake up Shabbos morning, you can't take a pill. Unless it's a migraine. A migraine
is different. It's dangerous.
If it's a migraine, not because it's dangerous, it's so bad that like you're stuck.
You can't do nothing. So what's better to
right.
Take
So if it's such a bad headache that you can't do anything, you can't function properly, you're stuck in your bed. No, not stuck on it. It's like a bedridden ill person.
It's a second degree of
the chayla. It's not. Yeah, it's not
second level.
It's not life endangering. What else is there to say?
When you're in the hospital, many times they come and take blood on Shabbos for this test. They could do it for Sunday, but you can't do it.
They have
a routine. They come to take your measurement.
First of all, you're a sick person. You need to do this. It's mostly because you're a sick person. You can have a guy do anything you need for them, and also they don't want to wait. They want to do it then.
They also compare the results. The first day you weigh it out, the second day, the third day. How things done.
Right. Yeah.
You
have to do it then.
To follow every 2 hours, 3 hours. What's going on?
Mm-hmm. There's another discussion about taking vitamins on Shabbos. Is it okay to take vitamins? So what's the process? Is it considered a medicine? So the Magen Avraham says that medicine, even though the person is healthy, if his intention is if he wants to take a medicine, if his intention is to heal himself, it's a problem. He's not allowed to take it. So the person discusses whether is vitamin considered. What's your intention? Why are you taking vitamins?
To be strong.
so is it on one hand? A lot of places, are matter. They say because you're not trying to heal yourself, you're just trying to keep yourself healthier. Either you want to be healthier, or you want to stop, or you want to stop yourself from getting a sickness.
Maintenance. Like maintenance.
They said basic maintenance. People say so. Ramesha and also the Ramesha Feinstein, the Ber Ramesha. There's a lot of Pesachim who are lenient. We're lenient with taking vitamins. Some Pesachim want to be machmir because you want to say it's also like a medicine. You want to stop yourself from getting sick. Shmir Shabbos Kilchus is machmir. But a lot of Pesachim.
Shmir Shabbos Kilchus is machmir and taking numbers and vitamins.
Vitamins. Yeah, he's not so excited about taking vitamins. Unless the doctor tells you have to take it every day with each meal.
But it's not medicine, so what's the problem?
What?
It's like I'm eating
So
orange.
he thinks of it like he thinks of it like a medicine. You're taking because you don't want to get sick. You want to keep yourself healthy.
No, it's just healthier to take pills of this is healthier.
So that's what other patients are matter. So halacha, I think everyone's lenient with this.
That you're allowed to.
Yeah, one of the other reasons why we're very lenient when it comes to taking medicine is because nowadays, who grinds up their own medicine? Why do we make a decree that you're not allowed to take medicine? Because you might come to make your own medicine. Because you might come to grind up herbs and make your own medicine. No one does that nowadays.
Why not?
So even though it's still usher, even though we still say you're not allowed to take medicine on Shabbos, but because you also have this reason to be more lenient, that it's not common nowadays, people don't do it. Yeah, that's another reason why. Even though there's an argument, if you have an opinion which is more lenient, you could put the two together, and so that's why we're lenient with taking vitamins and a lot of things on Shabbos.
So we're lenient by fire and we're lenient by sick. These two.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Say there.
We have a minion for Meir?
That's why I think some people have a machlekas for the sleeping pill. Someone can't sleep. If it's a medicine.
They discussed that also. The sleeping pills.
You're allowed to take a Shabbos?
Some people say yes, some people say no.
What?
A sleeping pill. Someone can fall asleep.
Right. The question is, it considered a medicine?